welcome back to my video. My name is Tasya Natali Sihombing. I am college student from Mathematics Education Study Program 2019 at State University of Medan. In this video, I will explain about chapter 12 is History of Mathematics in Europe. Okay guys, mathematics research in Europe based on classical theories. European mathematics came from Thales and Euclid. The Greeks studied, criticized, and spread by Arab Muslims in the early Middle Age. Then in the 12 years and 13 years contour, it was used by Europeans. Algebra emerged from the practice of algebra by Bach, disseminated by its use by Fibonacci, and especially the practice of problem-solving algebra in this tradition developed from Islamic Arab research. The epistemic basis of mathematics as a calculation was formed by the Arab Islamic world, and explanation of this basic became the main motivation of our analysis of the basic concept of Islamic Arabic algebra in the beginning. Progression of figure in European around the year 825, a Persian mathematician named Al-Khwarizmi wrote a book on algebra which, among other things, contains the complete Hindu number system. Later, this book was translated into Latin in the 12th century, and this book where influential is in Europe. It was in translation that introduced the Hindu-Arab number system of Europe. The development of mathematics in Europe in the 13 years until 16 years contour, 13 years century. In the 13 years century appeared a figure named Leonardo Fibonacci. Leonardo Fibonacci, or better known as Leonardo da Pisa, was the most talented mathematician in the Middle Age. It is known in Indian biological system since the 200 years century BC. He was the son of a merchant who followed his father to trade to Egypt, Sicily, Greece, and Syria. His greatest work was a book entitled Liber ABC in 825. This book deals with a problem using Indo-Arabic symbol, which show that he was influenced by the algebra of Al-Khwarizmi and Abu Kamil. Liber ABC focused for more on arithmetic than geometry. This book begins with an explanation or 9 Indian numeral symbol by adding 0. Fibonacci also consistently used a flat line minus as a symbol to express division. In this book, Fibonacci used 3 types of fraction, namely ordinary fraction, sexagesimal fraction, and unit fraction. One of the problems in Liber ABC is how many pairs or rabbits will be born in 1 year, starting with a pair of rabbits. If each month each pair produces a new pair of rabbits, where are a pair or rabbits will produce after with month? This problem is known as the Fibonacci squares 11203 581321. His extraordinary talent caused him to be summoned by King Frederick II to take part in the competition in which 3 conditions had been prepared by John of Permotiga, and one of them was that x squared plus 5 was a square of a number and x squared minus 5 was also a square of a number, and Fibonacci assured correctly that x has a cos and x squared plus 5 equals and square minus 5 equals n square. This problem is found in the Liber Quadratum book. Besides, the Fibonacci also writes identical in the Liber Quadratum book, such as a square plus b square is 6 square, and until in the 13th century, the University of Paris, Oxford, Cambridge, Padua, and Nevers were founded. The university scared the spirit of knowledge in Europe. This country produced several mathematics, namely Jordanus Saxo, Companius Sabrobosco, Roger Basson, and Nemorarius. 14 years country. The 14 years country was a barren period for mathematics. This is the country of the Black Death that wiped out more than 1/3 of the population of Europe. In this country, there was 100 years war with political and economic turmoil in northern Europe and despair. Although medieval mathematics was essentially practical, speculative mathematics did not completely disappear. The ideas of scholastic philosophy led to subtle theory talk about motion, infinity, and continuous. And 15th century is Renaissance period. Its history, the 15th century is called the Renaissance era, namely the rebirth of Asian attention to classical Roman and Greek culture and trying to find new values from this culture. Authors, refugees brought into Italy. The refugees brought Greek and Arabic knowledge to Europe since books translated from Arabic and Greek into Latin began to spread in Europe. This event greatly inspired the rebirth of interest in the classical studies in Western Europe. Most of the Greek saints to fail Italy. For the first time, the West has directly contrast with the original Greek Christians. Before in the West, classical Greek saints was studied through Arabic translation, which often contained many misinterpretations. The translated many Greek mathematics textbooks, include Book of Greek Elements, was also translated. Although in the early Renaissance, mathematics was basically an animation of ancient times, men weren't able to get out of Greek knowledge. They burdened their knowledge as the practical need for mathematics increased. In the 15th century, printing equipment was also found, so that the trade in science books also developed mathematical activities in the 15th century, were centered in Italy is Nuremberg, Vienna, and Prague. Nicholas Cusa 1466 became government in Rome, and he was also interested in solving square circle and bisecting angel. George von Feuerbach 1423 to 1461 after finishing studying mathematics in Italy, he lived in Vienna and founded a university in that city. He directed translator Ptolemy book for Greek into Latin. In addition, he also translated the works of Apollonius, Heron, and Archimedes from the Greek to Latin. Feuerbach student John Muller 1436 to 1476 complete the translation of the Almage into Latin. John Muller works entitled The Triangulis was written and published. The book was about plane trigonometry and spherical trigonometry written separately from astronomy. Muller, also known as Regionatanus, then settled in the Nuremberg at 1471, established an overstory in the city. In the book Trigonometry, he wrote three conditions to be able to determine the elements of a triangle. For example, determine the elements of a triangle if one side is specified and the height on the side and the ratio of the other two sides. French scholar Nicolas Chouquin wrote arithmetic. In his writing, he described rational, irrational number, the theory of equation, and the positive and negative integer. Exponent written in syncopate algebraic form, Luca Paschal, an Italian monk, combined a summary of arithmetic, algebra, geometry at the time in a book entitled Summa. The book describes the algorithm for extracting square roots, commercial arithmetics, bookkeeping, and solving equations using the word position method. The algebra he wrote was still syncopate algebra. His abbreviation include P stands for Pew, which mean at, N stands for menon, which mean less, Co stands for cosa, which means a noun object is used to change X. CC is senso, used for X4. EA is equals in the symbol plus. 1489 by Johann Wittmann. However, the use of this symbol has arithmetic operation to add the subtract. It has only have been to express more than less. Trade activity in the 15th century also increased the issuance of arithmetic necessary for trade itself. An arithmetic book was published with the Treviso arithmetic in the city of Treviso, a city on the trade route from Mexican City in the north. And Filippo Calandri published a book on arithmetic which became the basic for the method of division known today. The question is, the book describes the calculation of custom duties on trade in Italy. In other European countries also published arithmetic books, among others written by Jacob Cobel in 1514 in German, and in England by Robert Ricord in 1489 with the title And the Ground of Artes. 16th century, the word algebra with symbol. Robert Ricord wrote works in algebra, geometry, and astronomy in 1557. He wrote algebra with the title The Whetstone of the Right. It was in this book what the symbol equals was first used in similarity as it is used today. Michael Stiebel, a German monk, published a book entitled Arithmetica Integra. In that book, they describe rational numbers, irrational numbers, arithmetic series, geometric series, binomial coefficient to the 7th power. The book used the symbol plus minus as arithmetic operation and used letters for the unknown. Algebra using letters. Francois Vieta was born in Fontenay. He was a jurist and member of parliament, but with extraordinary talent used his spare time studying mathematics. He wrote a geometry book with the title Canon Mathematicus, Siu and Triangula. This book was the first in Europe to systematically solve plane and spherical trigonometry problems. It states cos and key, n equals 1, 2, 3 until 9 with cos key. He wrote algebra under the title In Artem Analyticam Isagoge. He began to compute algebra with letters for vowels for the unknown and consonant for a spaceship. In the 1600, Descartes wrote algebra under the title De Numerosa Protestatum Resolution. The Viette methods was used in Europe. History records attempt to solve this high-level equation in general. Descartes also gave a solution to the quadratic equation. Euler tried to solve an equation to the power of 5. Ruffini, an Italian physician, tried to solve the 5 power equation and proved that solving the equation was impossible. It was impossible to determine the roots of an equation to the power of 5 or more expressed by the equation coefficient. Ending the 16th century, Simon Stevens from the Netherlands wrote arithmetic. He was the first expert to write about decimal fraction. He also wrote about statistics and hydrostatistics, and which was complete in 1530 but published only in 1543 after his death. George Joachim Rheticus, a student of Copernicus from Germany, for 12 years he compared a trigonometric table of the 6 trigonometric function in second interval. The first scholar that just defined trigonometric function expressed by the sides of a right triangle table. Rheticus was published in 1593 by a German priest who was interested in mathematics, namely Bartholomeus Piticus. It can be concluded that the end of 16th century, the development of mathematics had already laid the foundation for rapid development in the 17th century. Algebra has begun to be written with symbols using letters. Number calculation are standard with the Hindu-Arabic number system. Decimal functions have been arranged, and theory of has been in the shortened form, negative, systematically arranged together with the tables of the trigonometry function. Mathematics is an Europe. René Descartes was born in La Haye, France, March 31, 1596. He is also known as Renatus Cartesius in Latin literature for this work on creating the Cartesian coordinate system. The period when Descartes' life was a time when new ideas about science, mathematics, philosophy, and literature were created by intellectual giants such as Newton, Galileo, Fermat, and Shakespeare. In November 1619, while he was camping in a small village on the Danube, a big idea appeared in his dream. In his dreams, he saw how algebra could be applied to geometry. This stroke opened up the entire new field of mathematics now called analytical geometry, which has become one of the most widely used mathematics by science to study natural phenomena. Isaac Newton was born on January 4, 1643 in Walsall by Coles Tower. 1642 on Christmas Day, in the field of mathematics, Newton, together with the work of girlfriend Leibniz, which was done separate. He also success in elaboration the binomial theory, Newton's method for approximating the zero value of a function, and contribution to the study of power series. Leonhard Euler is a mathematician who produced the most most discovery on all time. Euler is also remembered for his work in the form of closed curve of illustrated the talk of the syllogisms. This diagram is known as the Euler diagrams. Prince of mathematics and says mathematics as the queen of science. One of his work is that he published the book Disquationes Arithmeticae, which is a most influential number theory of all times. Philosophy, literature, politics, geology, history, and mathematics. Augustin Louis Cauchy was born in Paris. During his career, he served as a professor at the École Politique, Sorbonne, and Collège de France. One of which work was which Cauchy developed Euler formula for plane geometry by relating the sum of angle A's for surface M, vertex V of polyhedron A's plus 2 equals M plus V. Okay guys, I think that's all from me that I can explain on this topic of history of mathematics in Europe. Please forgive me if I have mistake in my explanation video. I hope I will be better in next chapter. If there are criticism, suggestion, you can write in column comment, and I hope this explanation video is useful for you. Don't forget to share this video on your social media and turn on the notification bell to get the latest on topic history of mathematics in Europe. Okay guys, thank you and have a good day.